Are you Patrick imitating a Western
Patrick?
from SpongeBob?
Oh, Jesus. That's way out there.
I don't know why I thought I don't even watch SpongeBob, but you just sounded like Patrick.
That's interesting. No,
imitating a Western on
that
TV.
was actually Hans Zimmer trying out a theme song in his car.
Does he sound like a cartoon character?
No, but it was in his head. It was a bassy theme song.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun. He was like, he's Hans Zimmer. He's driving like, I have a good idea for the theme song for the movie.
Oh no, this sounds terrible.
I'm assuming. I don't know. Is Hans Zimmer raised in America?
No, I don't think so. But I don't think your accent is anywhere near.
I am Hans Zimmer. I come from Eastern Ukraine.
No.
Dun, 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 dun. Bassy movie for the action scene.
What is happening? Okay.
You asked what I was doing.
I know. Okay.
I was over here just minding my own business with this microphone and this headset in this recording studio.
Because that's where we are. Okay. If you're just joining us for the first time, the person doing those terrible accents is Mr. Sean Patton.
And the person insulting my perfect Eastern Ukraine accent is Caitlin Cook.
Yep. Hello.
How are y'all?
Yeah. Good to have you. This is 5 words. Sean just got mad at me for explaining for saying that we have to explain the premise of this podcast every time, but you might be a new listener.
I personally just have more faith in the public that they will read a blurb or hear about it from someone and be like, I get what the podcast is.
I don't, because I've seen how stupid the public is right now. So, just a quick explanation. Me and Sean, we have on a guest before they come and, they don't come to our house anymore. They meet us via Zoom. But before they do that, they send us 5 words of a story that they're about to tell us. And then we try and figure out what the story is based on those 5 words and what we know about our guest. And we always fucking nail it. And then the guest tells us the real story, which is redundant because we nailed it the first time.
Mm-hmm. If you can't tell, there was sarcasm in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the public is that stupid, but okay. Well, you think
the public is too,
perfect?
You think the public is too stupid to get what a podcast is about, but smart enough to completely understand sarcasm
I
in the
really
moment?
don't want to get into politics right now, but yes.
Interesting. That's just an interesting. I'd have gone the other way, but that's all right.
I don't want to get into it, but apparently, ingesting disinfectant is, a joke. So, moving on. Our guest for this episode is the wonderful, the magnificent.
His nickname is the anti-Donald Trump, Ian Fidance.
Ian Fidance.
He is actually, hold on. I'm gonna. In many ways, our guest this week is the exact, almost opposite of Donald Trump. He is not president.
Yep, he's not orange.
He's not orange. He's not at all a garbage. He's not, he doesn't deserve to be behind Hitler on.
You know what
the
they do
human
have in
centipede
common?
in hell.
One thing they have in common: they don't drink anymore. Donald Trump.
Okay, there you go.
So
there you go. That's it.
Yeah,
and
that's the one.
Yeah. Ian has a mustache. Ian's a friendly human being. Ian's actually funny. Ian would never tell the public to ingest or inject a disinfectant, but he'd do it himself if it was for like a bit.
Yeah, or a good cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or there's a lot. Also, Ian is broke and Donald Trump is not. And I'm speaking for Ian because we're all fucking broke now.
It's true.
Yeah.
But Ian's a wonderful, cuddly dude.
And hilarious and regular at the cellar. Mm-hmm. Opens for Dave Attel.
Yes.
He's out there. He does a lot. He opens for Dave Attel. He's on the road. He's a fucking hilarious dude. And quite the story he hits us with.
Really crazy story.
Really reminiscent of drinking nights in New York City.
Oh, I miss him.
There you go.
Little baby burp.
Caitlin's hammered right now.
No.
Always hammered 24/7.
No. You're the one that called them the Parblick.
The Parblick?
Yeah.
Parblick. Sometimes I have little moments of pirate. The Parblick. Dyslexic pirate. And you can also see drunk Caitlin and her wonderful co-hosts Shane Torres, Tom Takar, Phoebe Bottoms, tonight
Yeah.
at the
Every
show
Tuesday.
called Good God.
Yes.
They got guests. I don't know who they are. Not going to lie to you. Who are your guests?
This week it's Chrissy Cello and who else? Tim and Micah Fox, Tim McLaughlin.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey Asmus. And who am I forgetting? I just made the artwork. I'm a bad person.
We just watch the show. It's fine.
Paul Donkey.
Yeah.
Danke. I don't know his last name.
Paul Danke. Yeah.
Danke.
And
Phoebe's writing partner. I've never met him.
yeah, Paul's a good dude. Funny guy. We go back. And then you could see us live at 10:33 on Twitch at Hold the Phone.
Yeah.
Friday at 10:33 p.m. Eastern Time. Our guest is a secret.
It is.
And you will find out this week who that is.
Fantastic. Please join us for all of that and enjoy Ian Fidance.
I should use a slide whistle in my...
No.
And I've ordered numerous masks online that have yet to arrive. And I bought from a hardware store like a fucking grip, like a stack of surgical, like the onesies. The one, like we had those for a while, but like...
Yeah, those we ran out.
I take a lot of walks at night. When I have to take phone calls, I schedule them for later and
That's
take
what I
walks
do.
at night. Yeah.
I do.
Because then I won't wear a mask unless I see like a cluster of other people, which I'll usually avoid anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, when I'm on the bike, I like the bandana because I can keep it down here, and then when I see I'm gonna go near someone, I put it up.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it really fogs my glasses. And I did it with a mask, and my breathing got really heavy because I was just like breathing in, that small space of air. But I mean, it infuriates me when I see groups of people walking around without mask, or like you go to the park and everyone's just like relaxing on a sunny Sunday day,
Well, there's also like like relaxing, stretched out, like nothing's going on. I at least admire like the groups that'll like go clearly, especially in Prospect Park, like find little divots to themselves, and they're like setting up shop. Like if this shit goes on for too long, you're gonna see people like start to like carry baseball bats and whatnot and be like, "Stay away!
Oh my
This
God.
is I claim this."
Yeah.
Fucking put a flag in it.
I mean, I don't know. It's really the whole like freedom fighter thing of people bringing guns to state capitals is just so mind blowing, because they're protesting for our freedom from a tyrannical government, and then at the same time they're like, "We love Trump. Keep America great, man. America's great.
Yeah.
Keep it great."
Oh, backwards. I don't.
It's so insane.
Yeah.
I was saying yesterday how like it sucks when phrases get co-opted, because like the idea of like make America great again is a phrase every American should be like, yeah, someone should do that. We should do in fact us. We should make America great again. But now that phrase is always aligned with these fucks.
Yeah.
And I hate that, because I fear that like in the future people will be like, no, let's like, there'll be like this sort of, because the anti-intellectualism exists on both sides. So there'll be these like, kids who are like 21 now, who when they're like in their late 20s would be like, no, let's not make America great again, because that's like fucking Trumpish and racist. It's racist to make America great again. And you're like, no.
It's like really bad. We have to make it great. It was once greater.
Yeah.
Not the way you think it was great, but the way for a time it was good.
The actual word great and the definition of it. Look it up.
Yes.
I know it's no longer cool to use words based on their definition.
Yeah.
However,
Yes.
literally look it up in a dictionary.
I know you like the word literally, so just use that word and then take the action of looking it up, and you will find that make America gooder enough the way it was, kind of.
Yeah. Well, the same thing goes for like Antifa, like that little portmanteau. It's like all these fucking right-wing motherfuckers are like, Antifa, fuck them pieces of shit. It's like, it stands for anti-fascism.
Yeah.
Or anti-fascist. Like, we should all be that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Totally. But I feel like the Antifa movement got co-opted by just easily punchable in the face whiny people, And then the definition of anti-fascism went out the window, and now it's just associated with these fucking goobers that want to block traffic while people try to go to work, and then call like someone like a garbage man racist for like going through their picket line so he can like go to work to support his family, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time,
they were wearing masks since 2015, bro.
yeah, right. They're like, we saw it coming, you know. But that's what blows my mind the most is, and I might not be the most educated on it, but is not the whole point of bearing arms to arm up against a tyrannical government?
Yes.
And then if you're saying that the government's being tyrannical, then why are you still supporting parts of the government? Like you're angry at the governors, but you like love the head of them, which is the president. Like it's just so fucking backwards.
It's really backwards. I never thought, I mean, Trump's tweets are crazy, but I never thought I'd see him like advocating for like an overthrow of the president advocating for an overthrow of the government.
Yeah, when he's like, liberate Michigan, liberate blah, blah. It's like, what? Where are you going to go? What is happening?
Dude, that is an argument we got into yesterday, but I swear to God, like, I personally believe that Donald Trump looks at what his supporters are doing and then he supports it himself. I think he is so desperate for like approval because he knows approval is what keeps people voting for him, and voting for him is what keeps him in office, and he wants to, of course, be reelected, that he's running the country like a business, as in what sells. And the people who buy the product that he's putting out are his supporters. And right now he's like, okay, they want to go this overthrow governors route. Well, fuck it. Like he's running it like a business. He's not thinking. And the big thing about running a successful business, and I hate to say this, successful business owners, but you know this, there's a lack of morality in some cases required to be a successful business person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you sell out. And that is what Trump has done. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing when you run a fucking bakery. That's a great thing. If you're like, everybody in this neighborhood loves pretzel bread. Well, we're making pretzel bread all the time.
Yeah.
That's great but like when you run a country, you can't. And that's what he's fucking doing. He's very like, oh, you guys hate Black Lives Matter? Me too. I think they're a bad organization.
It's the worst. And I've always hated it. I was the first one to hate it. Like
you guys are white supremacists? I don't think all white supremacists are bad. That's what This is Donald Trump speaking, by the way, not me, internet. I think Sean Patton, myself, I think white supremacists are fucking garbage people.
Ian Fidance agrees. We were doing a bit. Caitlin, you haven't said anything, so you're
Caitlin's a Jew.
I support them. No.
I don't know. The whole thing, you're totally right. He's running it like a business, but his whole goal is to get the money that he lied about having in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like he's such a zilch when it comes to his actual bank account. He's just ensuring that he'll finally have money so he'll be like, see, I'm not lying. I am a billionaire.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to talk about this too long, but like I was just reading a ton of news last night for Project, and he owes $1.8 million to cities for MAGA rallies. He's never paid the police staff for like managing them. He pays $15,000 a week to his son's significant others through his reelection campaign funds, which makes no sense. And then he also made this $55 million deal with a bankrupt company with 0 employees to create masks, which they haven't done. And I went down this weird rabbit hole and I was like, yeah, he's a money launderer. Like, that's what's happening with the government. Anyway, sorry. We don't have to.
Just real quick, if this is all a simulation and there are like, you know, Neo and what's the fucking Lawrence Fishburne's name? I was gonna say Fabio, but that's Morpheus.
Fabio. You were right.
Oh, I thought you were saying Neo, like neo-Nazi, not Neo like the Matrix character.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Neo and Fabio. And if there are a group of you running around trying to liberate us, do this thing where you go to the mainframe and download like the information, like that. You know how like you remember how like Trinity could be like, I need to know how to ride a motorcycle and shoot a rocket launcher and fly a helicopter. Yeah. Do the thing where you just download all the facts into us right now. Both sides. All of us. Not just them. Us as well. So that we all become aware and have the, you know what I mean? Like, and just fucking take down the establishment, brother.
But how do you do it? All the ones that are on his side have the guns, and we're like, well, I was reading this fact, and they're like, shut up, stupid.
I personally, straight up, do not think most of them would ever actually use the guns. I'm being dead serious about that. I've met a lot. I grew up amongst motherfuckers like this, and yeah, they got guns. Yeah, they talk shit. They're also not monsters. Like, yes, there are monsters in that world. There are monsters in our world as well. That's why I don't like to side with either. They're like, my tendencies, and instinctually I side with the left. I'm progressive minded, but I still think they throw some dirty punches as well.
Got it wrong a lot too, yeah.
Yeah, and like, but there's a lot of those fucking idiot NRA card carrying Trump supporters who've just been told that they're fucking idiot rednecks their whole life, so they've become these defensive. They're humans, and at their core, I don't think would like open fire on a bunch of, gay kids. Right. I think they would want someone else to do it, and there are a couple who would, and hey, guess what? Bullets run out eventually. I got a shillelagh. You know what I mean? Ian, I see you got that Fu Manchu. You can make a fucking
don't bring a shillelagh to a gunfight.
That's right. Yeah, never bring a shillelagh to a gunfight.
Nah, dude. You bring a shillelagh to a gunfight while people are like, hey, what is that, a cane? You just go, yeah, bah! And then boom, they're out cold. And you get their gun. Now it's a gun. Now it's even. I think you should bring a shillelagh.
It's the only way to make a gunfight even. You're right.
I want to come out of this quarantine just a completely like wearing suits and going on stage with a shillelagh. Wait, hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick, because we've been recording. So the thing is, Caitlin, do you see Ian's facial hair structure?
Yes.
The Fu Manchu. Okay.
Yeah.
That is what I'm going to do with my face.
But first, we have to dye his beard blue.
Can I tell you? I was gonna shave it, and I kept it because I knew I was gonna be here with you, and I didn't know if you had done it yet. But I thought we were gonna be Fu Manchu bros.
It'll happen soon. Can I just say something? I don't think you should ever shave that. Like ever. Yeah. Like this is your vampire look right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like, because I don't think, like, yes, there have been time, like, that's the thing about the Fu Manchu. What's so beautiful about it? It's never been in and it's never been out. It's just always been. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think most people can't pull it off, and most people don't even have the fucking gall to try it. You, sir, pull that fucking, like, it looks like it found you. It looks like it grew you.
Just watering one day, and then I sprouted out. I was like,
It was just a lonely Fu Manchu floating around, fucking bars and comedy clubs, and then it grew an Ian.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go on a talk show circuit about how we found each other.
Yeah. I love that.
How we've been good. The Fu Manchu didn't find me. I found it. It didn't like when people were like, the dog didn't rescue me. I rescued it, or whatever. I told them.
Because the first time I met you, which I don't remember if you remember, but in my recollection, it was like it was when Caitlin was shooting a video at the creek.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that. That
5 years ago, maybe.
Years ago, yeah.
Years ago. Yeah, it was a long time ago. Because Monroe was like, oh, yeah, Caitlin's shooting a thing. And you randomly turned up. And I was like, hell yeah. More people. Yeah.
For the listeners, Caitlin was shooting a music video at the Creek in the Cave. And she just got a bunch of comedians to be in it. And I showed up. And I had seen you around. And I know we had probably like socially like, oh, hey, man, what's up? But like, I think that was the first time I was like, oh, hey, Ian, Sean, cool. And my immediate thought was, this guy's got the greatest mustache I've ever seen. Because then you were just doing the straight like, what's that style called?
The push broom?
Yeah, the push.
The push broom.
Yep.
I like it.
I thought it had like a name, like a Hancock or something. You're like, no, the push broom.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure it does, but I like the push broom the best.
The push broom. Yeah, you were rocking that shit, and it was, buddy. Did you just comb a toothpick out of your mustache, or was that in your mouth?
Yeah, I did. Look, I'm 2 weeks without cigarettes, and so I'm
2 weeks.
2 weeks. No
Without
cigarettes.
cigarettes?
Can
Congrats.
you believe it? Yeah.
No.
Very, very
I know.
proud.
Me neither. Me neither.
Dude,
So
you smoked.
I know.
Especially during quarantine. Good for you.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't want to die. I didn't want to be immunocompromised. I had like a cough leading into this, and I was like, I gotta cut this out. I'm so afraid of continuing this and then having myself be susceptible, and or even just my biggest fear during this has been getting such a minor injury that like thinking you're sick and then going to the hospital and you're not really sick, or like cutting a thumb while chopping up an onion, and then
Me
you're like,
too.
well, I have to get this. Oh fuck, I got to go to the hospital. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've like
And
cut
then
out
and then at the hospital actually getting sick.
yes.
Yeah.
But also just like having to like take nurses and staff away for your like.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, true.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, in my head just now, I was like, yeah, who's the selfish one on this podcast?
Oh my God, you are such an angel. That is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, because I don't want to get sick. Me, number one. And you're
Yeah.
like, well, they're so overworked, and I wouldn't want to hurt them. I'd rather die in the street than to
Well,
distract them from the people.
that like I'm picturing myself waiting at the hospital and the nurses like rushing around and being like, "All right, you're next. What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I cut my thumb." Like,
I know, right?
that's highly
Yeah.
I mean, dude. You guys don't realize that during the course of this conversation, just out of curiosity, I cut my thumb just to see how bad it was. And I'm gonna be all right. All right. Right now. I've took my Fitbit off. I used the band to tighten it around my thumb. I've
Nice
cut off the
ticket.
blood.
Yep.
My pulse is high, but I'll be all right. Wait, because here's the thing too. So Ian tours with Dave Attel a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I asked because Dave Attel, that guy. I mean, before my I was a fan of his before I ever started doing stand up.
Yeah.
And when I met Dave, he had already been sober for a while before, right? But I knew Dave used to drink and party, but cigarettes and coffee seem to be his like two vices still.
Yep.
And he smokes a lot. And I remember once asking you, I'm like, is it hard like keeping up with Dave in cigarettes? And I remember you were just like, it's impossible. He's like, it's every time he lights up. You said something like, every time he lights up, I feel like I should too.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. It's like a pack.
Yeah. Well, like, when you're out drinking with your buddies and when they drink, you drink. I go to the bar, get me a drink, I get you a drink. It's kind of like that, but with, cigarettes. And also I'm very much like a coffee and cigarette guy, especially from being sober myself, like those
That's
go
true, yeah.
hand in hand. I haven't had a drink in 5 years and like just coffee. That's all I do. When I'm out at night, I'm drinking coffee, going to shows. And because I it's that thing of like, I need something in my hand. And I think a lot of the smoking has to do with social anxieties of like, oh, well, if I'm like uncomfortable in a bar, I can just run outside and smoke. Like right now I'm okay because I'm by myself. I'm not around anyone else drinking. I'm not around anyone else being social or anything. So it's like, okay. But if I were to be out a lot, I don't know if I could do it because it's such a crutch, especially when you find a smoking buddy. Then you skip the party together and you go out and smoke. Or when you're driving in a car, you got the tunes on, the window down, you're smoking a cig. You can't help it not want to do it all the time.
I mean, yeah, dude, like you guys, I feel like a staple of the past like year of late night spots at the Cellars. I'm like, I walk up to do a spot at McDougal and like I could bet. I was like, I'm going to put money right now on the stoop, on the stairs next to McDougal. It's going to be Ian, Dave, and Sherrod. Ian, Dave, Sherrod, and I'm going to see them in that order, but I'm going to hear them in the reverse order. I'm going to hear Sherrod from 3 blocks away. Then I'm going to hear Dave making fun of Sherrod. Then I'm going to hear Ian chiming in last. I'm going to see them.
And then you're going to smell Sherrod in another borough, just like that smell of weed, like leading you there, like a cartoon that's hungry with the smell lines.
I've always said Sherrod Small is a spy because he works like he's the guy. Because notice this about Sherrod. He shows up to all these clubs and parties and shows with this like crew of like attractive women who nobody seems to ever know, right?
Right.
And Sherrod is a very big personality, so he just runs distraction. He's just hollering at people and doing comedy and riffing with people and just being loud. and no one's. It's almost like no one's paying attention to these three very beautiful women who are just sitting there silently observing and taking notes and and like writing down information to pass on to whichever foreign government they actually work for. Like,
and Sherrod's like, "Shut up, stupid!" And they're like, "The safe is located next to the cash register."
Right. and that's how has enough money to live on the Upper East Side by himself, because he's being paid by foreign fucking governments.
Yes.
To run distraction while their spies gain info.
Yes. Yeah. The Russian government was like, "We need you to infiltrate stand-up New York." He's like, "What for?" He's like, "We need to find out what their 4 p.m. open mic, if it is gaining a lot of traction." He's like, "I'm on."
At that 4 p.m. open mic are two sons of senators. If we can get to them, we can get to U.S. Senate.
They are trying to get into stand-up comedy. They took a class, UCB. They said, "You need to try more comedy."
Both of them graduate from Yale with degree in political science, but don't want to follow in father's footsteps. Want to be like Mr. Seinfeld and Romano. Neither one want to be like Yakov Smirnoff, by the way. He has own theater in Bronson.
Wait, let me just say, by the way, Seinfeld, no, Smirnoff, very good choice. If I were to choose, it would be very good choice.
Can you imagine if NBC had give Yakov his own show instead of Jenny? And it was just called Yakov.
What's the deal with this communism?
Oh, God. I wish I was good enough at editing to edit in Yakov Smirnoff into every episode of Seinfeld.
Oh, my God. I wish I knew his act well enough to just shoot off on riffs of Yakov lines right now.
Wait, Caitlin, do you know Yakov Smirnoff?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got his own theater in Branson, Missouri.
That's wild.
He's got his own theater.
Like, that he shows up at? Like, is he the house MC of his own theater? Or
I think he's the only person who performs there. I think it's like the nightly Yakov Smirnoff show, which I'm not going to lie to you is the fucking dream. To just one day be like, here's a place I like. I'm in my 50s now. Fuck it. Give me a theater and let me just do an hour every night.
What's in Branson, though? Is there like
Branson's like Christian Vegas, right?
Oh.
Ian, you know, you're big in Branson, right?
I'm huge in Branson. I do the Branson. So actually, he's my competition. So I really hate Smirnoff.
They love bisexual comedy.
They do.
Branson, Missouri.
Yes, they're in the Middle East. I'm huge.
Wait, you're from what? Baltimore?
Delaware.
Yeah. I've asked you this, I think. Have you ever heard of something called Delaware Punch?
No.
See, that is a thing I think only existed in the suburb of Chalmette, Louisiana. But it was...
What is Delaware Punch?
I'm going to show you. It was this purple soda that my grandparents and fucking... Here we go. Hold up, I found it. Was just a staple in my house growing up as a kid. It was this.
What? Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
That looks so 90s or like 80s.
Oh my God.
Delaware Punch.
Tattooed on my body. That sounds like what I would have said when I was drinking. Like, you keep messaging me, you can get yelled Delaware Punch. And I just wake up in the hospital.
It was just this purple sugar drink, not carbonated.
What? Nothing.
So you crack, dude. It was when I was 11, it was the greatest thing on earth to be like running around outside playing fucking football. I was like the Deion Sanders of like front yard football when I was like 10 to 12. I was fucking good. I was fat. I played both sides. Anyway, I ran the entire 16-yard field back. And then
from one driveway to the other.
Exactly. Oh, dude, crushed it. And going inside, cracking open an ice cold Delaware Punch, non-carbonated, so you could just slam it. Probably 60 grams of sugar a can.
I mean, my question is Delaware Punch based in Delaware, or is it just like?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. You're the third person I've ever met from Delaware.
No one in my life in Delaware family ever worked at the Delaware Punch factory.
Yeah.
You know,
Wait, what's the major city in Delaware?
well,
Hanover?
Dover's the capital, but Wilmington is the major city. Like
Okay.
Wilmington, Delaware is the main like city. That's up north, but Dover's the capital. But everybody knows Wilmington because Wilmington, not I-95 goes right through Wilmington, and I-95 is the Northeast corridor, so it connects all the Northeast states all the way down to Florida.
Okay, here we go.
Here it is.
Delaware Punch, fruit flavored drink, blah, blah, blah. It was created in 1913.
What?
It's currently owned by the Coca-Cola Company. It's named after the Delaware grape. The grape was first grown in Delaware County, Ohio, has no affiliation with the state of Delaware. And it's difficult to find, but you can find it in Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and some Walmart stores.
That's great. Nothing to do with the state of Delaware. Only Delaware County. Not even Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Delaware County, Ohio.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I like how they have to put nothing to do with the state of Delaware and hard to find in there. You know, like they have to put those in the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Yeah, Delaware Punch was the shit, dude. I'm gonna order some.
I'm gonna try to find some.
Buddy.
When this all blows over, let's have a good old fashioned Delaware Punch.
Delaware Punch party. We gotta drink it and then we gotta punch each other.
I am. Yeah. Like if there's non-alcoholic and the alcoholic, and you, and you take one person who's been drinking from each barrel, and they go punch each other.
Perfect. Like Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah. Wait, you said you've been sober for 5 years?
Yeah.
Was there an inciting moment, or was it just like I just don't want to be this?
Oh, I mean, I'd been trying since like 2008. So like I had sober time, but then I would like get time, then I'd relapse, and I'd get time, then I'd fall, so it was like a million times I bumped my head against the wall.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But this was the last time I picked up a drink was April 2015. It's like totally insane because, everyone like talks about, when they get a year, 5 years, 3 years or whatever. It's like, well, what do you hope for when you get sober time? What do you hope for in your sobriety? And it's like, never in my wildest dreams would I be like, well, I hope to celebrate 5 years sober in a global quarantine alone in an apartment. But the fact, if you had told me then that would happen and that I wouldn't drink through it, I'd be like, are you fucking crazy? That's my dream, to be confined to an apartment with the only thing to do is to drink. Sign me up.
Well, and also that you would quit the other vice in your life during the quarantine.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Because I quit smoking in 2016, so coming up on 4 years. But I remember like the hardest was that first month.
Dude, it is. I mean, and that's. I've never done anything the easy way, and I've always like been very extreme with every single thing I do. It's like all or nothing, whatever. So of course I quit my biggest like vice, the only thing I have left during a global quarantine, and my mood swings. I mean, when this first started, I was up every morning at 9 a.m., writing, showering, working out, breakfast, lunch, you're strong, you're doing it. And then this past like week, I've hit such a wall of like, I don't know if I'll even eat anything but chocolate for the next 2 days. Like, just like on my sleeveless American flag shirt, I have like a big chocolate stain because I was eating so much and it just drooled out of my mouth. I was like, well, I'll get it later.
I'll get to it.
If that's from what's going on in the world or if that's like from me dealing with cigarettes. But this past week's been the hardest.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that's definitely, yeah. But you know what? Like, that's also, I can say this, man. I remember, like, how long did you smoke regularly?
Regularly since I was 21.
So, like, yeah, I can say this, dude. Like, it took about a year for me to notice. But when you finally notice, like, clean lungs again, it is a moment of, like, oh, thank you. Like, it is like it took a while. It took a good, because I was an on again, off again smoker for like 15 years. and I was never like an extremely heavy smoker, but I was like, you know, I drink and rip through a pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I smoked American Spirits. I remember in 2015, I bummed a cigarette off Attel, and he had like this bright orange pack
Yeah.
of American Spirits.
Yeah,
And I was like, what kind are those? And he goes, the kind you don't have. And I was like, good point. Thank you. But I used to just fucking I used to fucking love it. I used to love everything about smoking. But then like you get removed from it all and you realize you can still do all those things. You can still have those alone moments. Just step outside, take a couple walks around the block. You can still you can have those. For me, it was a thinking thing. For me, it was like, I need to figure out this bit. I'd light a cigarette. And it was almost like I entered into like another world of like, everything else is zoned out. I got my cigarette. But you can still do that without cigarettes. You just, everyone puts all this like pleasure attached to the cigarette. And it's like, no, the pleasure's inside of you the whole time, man.
Yes. Yes. You just think the cigarette's a key to unlock it, but you have the key. It's just easier to find with the cigarette because you trick yourself. I'm the same. I'm the same way. Of just like, okay, hold on. Let me just go outside, have a cigarette, and then I'll be like, it was there the whole time. And then it's like, you would have found it. You just had to work a little bit harder for it, maybe. You know?
Well, it's like there's a door, and a cigarette is like a doorstop. You know what I mean? It keeps the door open, and you always equate it to like, I need that doorstop there, or else I'm not gonna be able to open the door. But then the doorstop's gone, the door shuts, and then you realize, wait a second, it's open. You learn to turn the handle and open the door.
Right, and you thought it was locked the whole time. Yeah,
I don't need that thing keeping it open for me.
Yeah,
I can just open it whenever I want. I don't know. So this is our book called "The End of No Need for Stogs," written by Ian Fidance, Sean Patton, and Caitlin Cook, who's never smoked a cigarette in her life. Thank goodness.
Shut up. That's why you're so sweet and nice, because you've never had that evil devil inside.
You describing like needing to step outside because of social anxiety and unlocking shit. Like if I had ever smoked, and this is why I did not, I knew that I would be addicted to it because I have a ton of social anxiety. I'd love to just end any conversation immediately and be like, I'm gonna go smoke.
Yeah.
I love the idea of leaving like a loud bar and meeting a new stranger smoking. Like I like the idea of taking a break while I'm creatively like hitting a wall. Like all of that stuff would be super ingrained. So I'm really glad that I never did.
You just see me off camera pull a cigarette up and I'm like, yeah, you're right. I start smoking again.
Just like you've been smoking this whole time. Like, I mean, I quit. I'm saying I quit, but I mean in the future. You guys are releasing this in a couple weeks, right?
Yeah. I will have been quit by then. I didn't say
This is coming out for 3 weeks, right? Yeah. I'll quit in a week.
No, you're totally right, Caitlin. That thing of going out to, and even the magic of like, oh, someone's you smoke, I smoke. Let's have a quick 2-minute talk like we're best friends, and then
Yeah.
But I still like
Go for it.
Oh, I still hold the toothpick like a cigarette sometimes. And I'm like, I thought I had Corona because there's that loss of taste, loss of sense of smell. Yeah. And my tongue really hurt. And I was like, oh my God, am I going to lose my sense of taste? Oh God, I think I have Corona. And then I realized I'm chomping on these toothpicks. So I gave myself a splinter on my tongue.
Oh yeah. But you know those flavored like tea tree oil toothpicks you can get?
That's what I have.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those guys. Yeah. You're good. You're good. You'll be okay. Yeah. I fucking that saved my ass. That and dried shrimp.
Really?
Yeah. Are you not getting? Has your appetite not jumped through the roof?
I mean, I'm trying to eat healthy, but so I'll make like a batch of spaghetti meatballs for like the week, and then at night I'm like, you can have 4 cold meatballs on the end of a fork like a lollipop.
For some reason, you and spaghetti and meatballs sound perfect together. Like you would like, of course, Ian's just eating nothing but spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah.
In a quarantine.
I love it. I love making the meat. I make it the meatballs. I make it the sauce.
Yeah, dude. That's what it is.
I just love it so much.
You look like meatballs and spaghetti personified, and that's a compliment.
It is something everybody loves. You know?
Yes, it's something everybody loves. I'll take it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So speaking of something everybody loves, Ian,
Yes.
Would you mind telling us your story in the 5 words?
I would love to, Sean.
Yeah.
And Caitlin as well. My story in 5 words is never hang in a deli. Never
All
hang
right.
never hang at a deli.
Never hang at a deli. So, little known fact about Ian Fidance is that growing up, he was a massive, massive fan of Peter Pan. Like most young people, he wanted to be one of the lost boys. He wanted to live. He wanted to be young forever. He wanted to find his Neverland, right? So, in order to get into that world, Ian started doing, what was it, Caitlin? Theater?
Yeah, so obviously you can't go to Neverland, but you can be in a production of Peter Pan in the theater. So you start to get into theater, and if people don't know about this about Peter Pan, in most productions, Peter actually learns how to fly on the trapeze. So you start to learn trapeze artistry,
Hanging
from the sky, hanging from the wires, and then at one point you're rehearsing and you fall.
You fall, it's humiliating, you run out of there, you're cast out, you feel you can never go back, you walk away from the theater world, you're like, I was humiliating. Exactly. I can't show my face around the trapeze-based Peter Pan productions of this town.
Good pun, cast out of the cast.
Yeah. But some time goes by, and after working the docks and living on the rough side of the tracks for a while, you're like, nah, fuck this, man. I got to get back into it. So you start looking up trapeze, the best trapeze artist in the world, and you find one of these guys on Twitter. So you shoot him a message at trapeze artist tree, and he gets back to you, and you're like, can you train me? And he's like, I'll fucking train you, kid. And it's like a montage, Karate Kid style. He trains you, and at the end of it all, he's like, you know what you get, buddy? An A. You're ready to go back.
Yeah.
Right?
So you go back. And it's not the same production, but you go back into the theater world and you get cast as Peter Pan in this off-Broadway cool production that is showing in the back of a New York City deli. And that's how you got your start.
And then after that, you're like, well, I'm already in New York. Might as well now try stand-up comedy. And here you are.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it all started in the spaghetti aisle of the deli.
There you go.
The deli.
So
just converged.
Just to recap, it's about the time where you, in being a fan of Peter Pan, started acting in a Peter Pan production that required you to hang from a rafters and fly. You fell. You were too humiliated to go back. You walked away from it for a while. You found a guy on Twitter. He started training you in the art of trapeze, and you got cast at a trapeze-based Peter Pan off-Broadway theater that's connected to a New York City deli.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did we nail it? I mean, that sounds...
Did we nail it?
You might think we're reading directly from your biography on your website.
I mean, can I be honest? The only thing you got wrong was the Twitter handle. But other than that, everything was totally correct. And I no one's ever nailed it that hard. You guys, the best podcast in the world.
Yep. Damn right. And that's a soundbite.
Yeah, there it is. I love how in the cautionary tale of like what not to do, you use Dan St. Germain be like, no, that's not true. And it like, I could not imagine you being like, well, you're a big fan of Peter Pan, you were a trapeze. I'm like, no, come on, Sean, what are you talking about?
Well, when we asked, here's the thing, and I didn't correct you. When we asked guests to give the 5 words, I told Ian, Caitlin, you should know this. I told him, like, we've just had examples of people being like, all right, my 5 words are Lansing, Michigan, Frank Genevieve Sr., Toyota Corolla. I'm like, no. They give us like, it's like, no, boil those down to just like words, like, you know? Yeah. But rarely ever, only you and David Cross have given us like succinct sentences.
Or like
incredible company to keep. So
yeah.
Perfect.
And you got it. It wouldn't surprise, like visually, if we found out you guys were blood.
Yes.
If you were like, if David Cross was your father, he's probably old enough.
Yes. I mean, well, that's why I moved to New York, because I tried to find my artist father. I was trying to impress him my whole life. You know, he was in entertainment. I was a Peter Pan wannabe, you know. Kind of like Krusty Clown and his father, you know?
There it is. There it is. Wait, what's the real story?
Yeah, what's the real story?
The real story is, do you want the succinct version or like the long? I could just tell it in a couple.
Give us the long version.
No, give us like your version. Yeah, give us the version.
Well, you know, I am sober and
Yeah.
I have been for a little bit, but when I was not, you know, I had a real, I drank to live and I lived to drink. That was the life I led. And, there was, a friend of mine who, did you have that like drug friend of yours that when you would hang out, they would always be like, don't worry, I got it. It's on me. Free drinks. I got the booze. I got the drugs. And then when you hang out, it's never the case.
Dude, I had like 4 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's just like the guy who was like, hey man, hey dude, look, I got some acid. I got like this hat. Look, you want to split this tab of acid? And then they're doing $5 all you could drink down at Miss May's. You want to go? And you're like, I don't know. And it's like, dude, I got everything. I'll drive. And then he drives, but then you get to where you're going and he doesn't have any money, and then he's too fucked up to drive you home. So then you with your suspended license have to drive you both home later, and you can't stop thinking about that the whole night. And the fact is you lied and said you took the acid, but you didn't. And now you're slightly pretending like you're tripping, kind of like, nah, man, yeah, it's great, but you're not tripping at all, but you are housing whiskey sodas because you're just trying to fucking get through the night and get home, and you realize also you've got to pay for gas on the ride home. Yeah, anyway, that's just one example for me. But yeah, so you know that guy.
Oh, yeah. I had a buddy one day, we said, hey, let's wake up. We're going to go to the track. We're going to win money playing blackjack. We're going to get a bushel
At the
of crabs.
track?
We're going to win. Yeah.
Wait, there was a blackjack table at the track?
Yeah. Out in Westchester, Haraz Casino.
That's fucking just consolidation, baby.
So my buddy was like, look, man, I've been lucky lately. I've been killing it in blackjack. Let's go. We'll watch, the dog race or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. So we go halfway there. He goes, oh, I left my credit card at home. I go, okay, I'll pay. And then we get there. I give him the money. 30 seconds later, he goes, all right, I'm out. Here, let me bet for you. And I'm like, what the fuck? We lost all our money and ended up just getting hammered anyway because it was like, well, we have to drink this away. But I have tons of those friends. One of my friends called me up and she goes, hey, there's a guy at this bar. He always gets me free drinks. Come, I have Coke. We're going to have a good time. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting Coke. It'll be a night. Let's do it. So I show up and I kid you not, I walk in and the very first thing I hear is, I told you once and I'll tell you again, you're not welcome. And I was like, what? And he's yelling at her and she's like, no, you said that I could just reach over the bar. And I'm like,
oh no.
So I'm showing up thinking it's going to be, free drinks, whatever. And we're getting kicked out and she's, really attractive. So she kind of schmoozes up to this guy in a suit and he's like, talking to her and they're talking. And then she's like, come over here. And she introduces me and she's like, this is so-and-so. Here's a bunch of Coke. We're getting kicked out. We're going to go. And it was like the end of the night anyway. She's like, we're going to go to an after hours bar. I was like, okay. And my thing was like, I told.
Wait, this is in Delaware.
This is in New York.
Okay, because I also know Delaware bars shut down at like 9:30 or something.
Right? Yeah. They never open. Yeah. Dude, bars shut down at 1, and if you're feeling frisky, at 12:50 you speed to Pennsylvania or Maryland so that you can drink until 2.
Whoa.
Yeah. And there's some bars right at the border. So, and then cops just circle like hawks so they can just pick you up for a DUI.
But you're talking after hours in New York, which is like, okay, 6 a.m. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. So we head to after hours, 6 a.m. We're in the cab, and I tell the guy, I'm like, hey, I've never done cocaine. Do you mind if I try it? And he was like, you're fucking lying. I had Coke in my pocket. And she was like, no, he's never done Coke. He really wants to try. So the guy gives me some. And I'm like, wow, I see what everyone's talking about. Can I do more?
Cool.
Yeah. Interesting. So this guy hated me off the bat. And we go to the after hours bar. And I'm like drinking floaters that I'm finding and everything, just she's off with him. I'm by myself. When you're like shit,
drinking
drunk.
floaters?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was in a bad spot. Yeah. So I was just like drinking whatever I could find, just for like free. And so I wouldn't have to spend money. And so we got word that the place is getting raided. And I'm like, okay. So I go in the bathroom and I have Coke in my pocket. I don't want to get rid of the Coke. I'm drinking floaters. I don't have enough money to buy more Coke, So I take the Coke in a condom and I shove it up my ass. And
Gotta do it.
I get out scot-free. They don't notice. So I leave and it's like 6:37 a.m. And I see this woman, and it turns out I could tell she was a prostitute off the bat. She was like, "Hey, do you have a cigarette for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" So I give her one, and we're smoking. And I go, "So what are you doing?" She goes, "Well, I was going to go in the deli and get a beer." And I go, "Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Let's do it." So we're in K-Town, and we go upstairs at this deli, and we're talking.
Wait. When you say K-Town, you mean Koreatown?
Yeah.
Where exactly is Koreatown in Manhattan? It's like 30th?
It's like
It's
weird,
like 2 blocks, right?
It's like 2 blocks, and I can never locate it. It's like
It's somewhere in that like 30th and 4th Broadway.
Yes.
Somewhere around there, right?
Some weird like nexus of the universe situation. It's like a Bermuda Triangle of a location.
All right, yeah. Okay. We'll talk about this afterwards, but why are after hours spots always in Asian neighborhoods? Let's just get to that later.
I don't know. But I mean, I love them for it. Thank you.
Smart business because
yes, but also
Yeah.
do me a favor. If your after hours spot is open in an Asian neighborhood, leave your delicious food open as well. Because
oh God, you're right. Yeah.
So we go up to this deli and we're talking, and cocaine comes up, and I'm like, "Well, I got cocaine." She goes, "Well, take it out." I'm like, "All right." So it was still in my ass, so I had to like pull it out, and I go, "Oh, sorry, I dropped it," but I was just trying to get it out of the condom so she didn't see it.
Right. Yeah.
So we're doing all this coke and everything, and I'm like, "Well, if we do the coke, you got to get me more booze." She's like, "Okay." So she goes down, comes up. We're just boozing, and I kind of noticed that she wasn't drinking as much as me, and I was like, whatever. And so I kept going back and forth to the bathroom, but the coke made me like paranoid. And I was like, "Hey, you're not going to rob me, are you?" And she was like, "No, I'm not. Are you going to rob me? What the fuck's the matter with you?" I was like, "No, sorry, the coke, So next thing I know, I just wake up in the bathroom at the Korean Deli.
Shit.
And it's like 8:30, 9 in the morning. There's pounding in the door. I open the door. It's just hustle and bustle of Midtown Manhattan. Everyone everyone hanging out. I had left because I had accused her of stealing, and she thought I was going to rob her. We did a Mexican standoff of leaving our items on the table every time we went away to prove, like, I won't run away. My thing is here, I came out. All my things were gone. She stole everything. I yelled at the guys in the deli. I'm like, "Why would you let this happen?" And they're like, "Why would you pass out in a deli?" And I was like, "All right, you bring up a good point." So I had to get a cab home. I didn't have any money. So when I got home, I did the whole, instead of leaving my phone and wallet on the table, I was like, "I'm going to leave you my shoes. I'm going to go inside and get money from my roommate." So I left my shoes in a cab, went in, got the money, paid the guy. Because she was a prostitute, I found her. We had talked. She gets her work on Backpage. When Backstage Page.
Oh, yeah.
I found her on Backpage.
And that's something that other guys have told me about.
Yeah. I've heard it
just from other people.
Only in conversation from sailors and jailhousemen.
Yeah.
So I found her on Backpage, went to a payphone, called her to get her to come to Brooklyn to get my shit back. But before the call ended, I broke and was like, "Amanda, this is Ian. Did you steal my cell phone and wallet?" And she was like, "Honey, I thought you were dead, so I just left." And I was like, "Oh my God." So I never got my shit back. 2 years later, I saw her again on the street. I was sober. She was messed up. And I go, "Amanda?" And she goes, "Ian?" I go, "Hey." She goes, "Hey, did you ever find your cell phone and wallet?" And I go, "No." And she goes, "That's a shame." And then she just walked away.
Oh, that's great.
So I learned, just to never chance it, never hang out in the deli. It was the deli's fault. It wasn't me.
It was clearly,
It was the deli's fault. They should have they should have done a better job safeguarding all of my items and myself.
Right. They should know at that hour these people need to be protected.
Yes.
Obviously. Caitlin, this sounds like something. This sounds like the story, your story about passing out. I'm kidding.
No, no, I don't know which story you're talking about. No, I thought you were about to say like, Caitlin, this sounds familiar. Were you Amanda?
Was this how you got all that coke that one time in 2000?
That random dude's wallet. It looks like spaghetti and meatballs personified.
Yeah. Dude, that's fucking, yeah, man. That's one of those nights that'll put that plants the seed of sobriety.
Especially because I had been sober before, so I knew what it was like to be sober, and every time I drank just made it even worse to be like, you don't have to do this. You know what it's like to not have to do this, you know?
Yeah, this isn't. There is that thing though when you're fucked up enough where you're like, I should definitely not do this, so I'm gonna. So I'm absolutely gonna, because I need to learn a lesson. I need to know
the devil.
Not to do this
The devil is on your shoulder with a bullhorn going, just do it. You won't do it again. Your last time, you'll learn a lesson. This bad thing is a good thing. And you're like, you know what, devil, you're right.
And the angel's on your other shoulder going, look, the devil's got a point, but what they don't realize is behind your neck, the devil's just flipping the
high five.
Ventriloquist for sure.
Do it. Here's another 100. Tell him he should stay out another 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, devil. Yeah, good. I mean, yeah. Ian, listen, buddy. One more rail of coke won't hurt you. God's on your side.
Yeah. Would an angel ever let anything happen to you? No, I got your back. And the devil and him are betting on me.
Yeah. Then there's more. There's like a whole behind your fucking head is just a casino of its own.
Yeah, and they're hanging out with that old monkey on my back as well. Know what I mean?
Monkey's back there, just like the guy. He'll do anything. Seriously.
Yeah.
No, seriously, dude, that's because the thing I was saying about a previous episode with Chris Funk, we were talking about. I've never been to after hours spot in New York. I've only been to after hours spots in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to blow up their location or nothing, but they're always these Asian restaurants that just close down. They're normal restaurants that close down, and you have to know they're there, and you go and you knock, and they ID you. And the big thing is they only serve one type of alcohol. It's like a Coors Light or a Miller Lite that they pour into coffee mugs, right? Mm-hmm. And when you order, you have to order a cappuccino. That's the only thing they sell. If you order beer, they just ignore you like you don't exist. If you're like, can I get 2 beers? They just don't acknowledge you, right? They just pretend like you're not saying anything. If you get irate, they of course throw you out. But if you're like, hey, can I get 3 cappuccinos? They just pour you 3 beers.
Amazing.
And I love it. Yeah. But I've been to like 6 of those in LA, and they're great. And
well, that was the deal with this place was they served booze to a certain time, but the after hours aspect was that it was a pool hall. So when we got there, we expected to be like drinking more. And all that was left was like the floaters of people that after they had stopped serving the alcohol.
Oh, got it.
So it was just like a mad dash to like keep drinking and keep the night going. Of like, you know,
I thought when you were talking about a New York after hours party, I was like, man, there were probably Russians, and there was like,
I guess we've only ever seen locations of the Comedy Cellar turned into after hours bars, but I've never really been to a real one.
Yeah, if you like know a bartender, anywhere can be like an after hours place. Like they'll shut the gate and you guys will hang out and drink or whatever.
Yeah.
But to have like a legit like pool hall after hours place, it was like kind of neat, but at the same time it was like there's a reason why bars close. There's a reason why there's closing time for places, and that you should not keep going out,
There's a certain bar in a certain neighborhood of Queens, New York. I'm not going to say the name of the bar, but it's let's call it the River and the Cove.
Yes.
And there used to be a time where the owner there would be like 5 or 6 of us, and she would just shut down at legal time. She wasn't serving anyone, but like the 5 or 6 of us there we'd be in there till like the person came in to open the kitchen at 10 a.m.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like we'd still be down in the bar,
Yeah.
serving ourselves, smoking cigarettes. She would put ashtrays full of cranberry juice. I don't know why it was cranberry juice. I don't think I ever asked. I think I just assumed like it nullifies the smell of cigarettes. I don't know.
Right.
Cranberry juice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Coming from New Orleans, like bars don't close in New Orleans. They close whenever they want. There's no closing time in New Orleans.
That's right.
So like bars.
What is that like for you as a drinker, like a kid coming up drinking?
I mean, I didn't drink a ton until I started doing stand up when I was like 22 or so. But like, it's great. I mean, because like some bars close. Like there are a shitload of bars in New Orleans that'll close at 2 or 3. I'd say the average closing time of a bar in New Orleans is 4 a.m. Usually, most bars will be on like a Tuesday night. But then there are probably about a dozen bars in New Orleans that are legitimately 24 hours. That are like, we do not close at all. They'll open at 6 p.m. and they'll close at like 8 a.m. for 2 hours to clean. And then the first 4 hours they'll only serve food, but then they start serving. You know what I mean? It's like you could definitely drink till the fucking sun comes up and goes back down. But like, I don't know. I guess because that was an option growing up, it always seemed insane to get crazy fucked up. That's why like people who grew up in 2 a.m. cities tend to like by like 1 a.m. they're just pounding in shots. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, bar's gonna close. Fuck. You know.
Yeah. That was the thing. Like when around between like 12:30 and 1 was just a mad dash to get everything you could in your system.
Oh yeah.
And then drive home and hope it hits you when you get home and not when you're on 95 driving home.
That's nuts. By the way, Koreatown is on 32nd Street in between Madison and 6th.
Yes.
Boom. There it is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere in there is an after-hours deli joint.
Right, yeah.
Wait.
The finest deli joints.
I love, dude. I swear to God, dude. I love so Caitlin. I met Caitlin in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin, Chicago is the only city that has. They call them slashies. Have you ever heard of these?
No.
They're basically liquor stores, just standard liquor stores. You walk in, you buy booze, but if you want, you could go in the back where there's also a bar. But it's like it's not that it's illegal. It's just that they keep it quiet. You know what I mean? So you can go and get some booze, and while you're buying the booze, if you're like, you know what, I want to drink this right now. They're like, well, here, don't buy it. Just go to the bar through the wall there, and you go in the back, and it's like, oh, hey, fellow alcoholics, and then
that's great.
Yeah, and that's I don't know. I don't drink as much as I used to, but I do, and I was never a drinker by myself, but like I do love like that type of shit, like divey, old, somewhat secretive. You know?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You give me a bar where you got to ring a buzzer to get in, I'm fucking hooked.
Yes. There needs to be more of those, but they need to not be like a popular thing. They need to be a thing that you can only hear about through a friend.
Yeah, there's so many like corporate speakeasies that ruins the effect of it.
Yeah, like we're a speakeasy. It's like, well, then no, you're not.
And stop announcing it, okay?
Yeah.
You're a speakeasy, but it's so loud in here. You're like a shout hardy.
I feel like that's a shout hardy. I feel like that's gonna happen
loudy
as stuff starts to open up post quarantine. Is like, you know that you've been quarantined for a while. You trust only these amount of people, and you're all going to this location. And you're telling nobody else. I feel like that's probably already a thing.
You know, I don't know. I would love to know what the legal situation is with consuming alcohol in like a public park, and if there's a way to get a permit. And I feel like there is a way to get a permit because there's a lot of music festivals that serve drinks that open in parks.
Yeah.
That would not be a terrible idea for bars to start doing now, like pop-ups in parks.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, do it outside.
You have to wear a mask. You got to social distance.
You got to wear a mask. They put tables, space them 10 feet apart, and just be, or maybe even have wait staff. Be like, hey, you know, you can't. I don't know, but something, anything that feels normal again.
Yeah, I mean that would be great, but then it's like them drinking through the mask, you'd have to be like, well, let me touch my face and pull the mask off.
True, yeah.
Yeah. You got to get straws back into circulation.
Yeah, but then you also know the second people get too sloshy with the alcohol, it'd be like, man, fuck this mask. I don't need social distance these nuts.
Yeah, and then people have to chuck them out, but then you don't want to touch anybody. And
Yeah. It would just be such a mess.
I mean, at this rate, just if you're a bar owner, just instead, take the money you've made, go back to school, get into biochemistry, and then
there we go.
and then figure out a better testing system and a vaccine.
Yeah.
So we just don't have this. We don't have to worry about it anymore when we can get back to life, because that would probably take you as long as the government is going to.
I know. Yeah.
So,
if you own a bar, if you own a restaurant, Dos Toros, do us a favor.
Yeah.
Go to school. Okay.
Go become a doctor and help us out. Figure out a vaccine. Wait, Ian, so everyone can find you. What's your handles?
iAnimal on Instagram, IANIMAL, like iPhone, but iAnimal.
Right.
Ian Fidance on Twitter. IanFidance.com. Me and Gary Veter have a cartoon that comes out weekdays, Monday to Friday. It's called Surviving with Gary and Ian, 11 a.m. And
yeah, it's great, by the way. I was gonna say that earlier. I really loved it. It's hilarious.
Thanks. Yeah, it's really fun, and it's kind of given us purpose during this whole thing to have structured activities that we have to do each day to pump these episodes out, and work with the animator. And it was Julie Johns, and she's so great, and she's the best, man. She's so good, and I don't know, it's really fun. So we have a Patreon coming out, and I'm excited. It's gonna be a good thing.
Awesome.
Yeah, check it out. It's all it's fucking great. And before we go, I gotta tell you real quick, Ian, about the time I got mad at you. But this is not your fault. It's not your fault. Okay. There was this time, and it wasn't even. Anyway, I'm just gonna tell the thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly when this was. I want to say it was within a year ago. We're at the Cellar. It's like a fucking Friday night or something. I had just done a set at the VU, and come around the corner to McDougal to get food, and you were there, and you were eating, and you were wrapping up hosting that show.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had another hosting spot at the next 2 shows later. Right. It was like the 10 a.m. You were hosting the late night show as well. And you finished your food and you were like, all right, I got to run. I was like, where are you going? And you were like, you were running up to some shitty club in Times Square to do a mic. And I was like, what? And you were like, yeah, dude, I'm working. I got to fucking stay sharp. I'm working on this bit. And I remember you left and I was like, he's going to do a fucking mic?
Wait. What mic is it at 10:30 on a Friday night?
It was like...
Maybe I had to go do a spot at a shitty club.
No. You said specifically that it was a mic and they gave you more time.
No. I said that the club is shitty, but it's like an open mic and you get more time.
Wait, hold on.
Here it comes.
Just inflated everything. But that's funny because when you left, I was like, what? Go and do a mic. What a dumbass. He's hosting what the fuck's his fucking problem going to a fucking mic? And I remember I got really in my head about it, and I went and did a set. I had a run to go do a set at New York Comedy Club, and I had like a shitty set. And then the walk back to the Cellar, I was like, fucking, what? I'm supposed to be like Ian now, go and do fucking open mics to stay sharp and shit. And then like the second half of the walk, then I was mad at first. And then by the second half of the walk, I was like, you stupid asshole. You should have fucking praised him for running to do a mic and stay sharp. You arrogant piece of shit. Who the fuck do you think you are? Who the fuck do you think you are that you shouldn't be doing mics, right? Look, you just ate shit. Fuck you, Sean. And I was so then pissed at myself. And I was like, I have to tell him this. I have to tell him when I get to the Cellar that I was initially thought he was an idiot for going to do a mic, and then now think I'm a fucking idiot for not going with him.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And then, but then by the time I got there, you were on stage hosting, and I just went and did my set at the VU, and I did that one set was good, and then I just got hammered and kind of forgot. But now you're telling me it was just a normal shitty
I
You just gave Sean Corona.
Yeah.
Virtually.
maybe I don't know. I'm trying to think of what maybe was I going to the creek to do a mic?
I think you were going to LOL.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
To do
yeah,
like
yeah.
a late night mic where
No, they don't have
people
mics there.
going off the-
They don't have mics there, but their spots are like mics because they're just like it just doesn't matter so much, and it's a 15-minute thing.
Right. So I wasn't actually mad at you. I was like, my
That's
insecurity
so funny.
came out guns blazing. Where instead I was like insecure about how hard you were working that night, and I was like,
That's so funny. And I think my insecurity came out instead of being like, oh, I have to go to a spot uptown and, whatever. I was like, well, it's not that great of a club. It's more like an open mic, because it's not like a club, like my insecurity came out in that over explanation. That's so funny.
But I think that's the fucking beautiful thing that people don't talk enough or realize about comedians is like when we're not inspiring each other with like great sets, we're also inspiring each other with like terribly low moments of shitty insecurity.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
We're also like, what?
But dude,
Wait, how many spots is he doing tonight? Why is he doing that many spots? And then 3 hours later, you're like, I should have done 2 more spots. I should have been working as fucking hard.
Dude.
Maybe that's why he's got 100,000 Instagram followers. You know?
Dude, that walk from club to club of like just the regret walk of like, why didn't I? And he's doing, and why should? And then like halfway to where you're going, you're like, oh no, this is all in my head. Like this is all a thing of me, and it's not anyone else. It's just me.
Dude, I made a short film on a short video on my Instagram page like a couple months back. Yeah, like on those nights where you've got like a handful of sets, how like some of those walks, you're like, that was the best, man. That was just too good. I'm like, yeah. I'm sure they're going to hear about that at Netflix. They're probably going to hear about that set at Netflix. So I should be ready just to act cool when they call.
Yeah.
And then the very next one, you're like, I should just walk to Newark.
I should just keep walking till I hit the fucking East River. And also, I shouldn't have gone home for Christmas. Why did I take a night off? Why was I with family at Christmas?
I should swim across the Hudson. I should walk to Newark Airport, and I should get on a flight home because this is bullshit. Anyway.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. Oh, that's so funny, man. Oh, I love it so much. And can I just say what a stand-up guy you are, and what that night at the Cellar that you walked in, and one of my favorite things is we always give each other shit no matter who.
Oh, Jesus.
Like showing that you like someone, But unbeknownst to you, you walked into the Cellar and I was like loudly telling a story and you're like, oh, shut up. And everyone kind of looked at you like, all right. And then you were like, what? It's what we do, And you didn't know that we were having a memorial for our dead friend.
Yeah. Oh, buddy. That was a fucking... Caitlin was there.
Yeah, I was there, and I was like, it finally bit him in the ass. One of the things that Sean does is he enters into a conversation without ever being like, hey, what are we talking about? He just immediately starts talking about whatever he wants to talk about, and I'm glad that it finally bit him in the ass.
I thought that was so funny, and what a class act stand-up guy you are is I went down to do a spot, and when I came back up, there was a chocolate cake not only me but everyone there as an amends and you're just such a stand-up wonderful guy,
dude. That was thanks, but yeah, that was a moment where like as soon as like I realized what was going on, I walked outside and was like, fucking you dumb bastard.
But it's so funny because that's
yeah.
happened to every you go into a jovial place, they're like, hey, what's up guys, how you doing? And everyone's like, my mother's dead, and you're like, oh god. You don't know.
Dude, we're breaking balls, but sometimes the balls are already broken.
I wish you could have seen the look on your face when you were like finding out. It was just such like a sweet, like, oh, I had no idea.
Dude, believe me, I have that. I see that look every fucking night when I'm like, what did I say? What did I actually say to anyone tonight on stage? How many people did I wound?
Oh my
Sometimes
god!
the balls need to be cradled. Well, dude, thank you 1,000 times for doing this. Everyone listening, please check out everything Ian does. He's hardworking, but also just fucking hilarious and a true spark plug. Like guy that when he walks into a room lights it up, and you're that you're that presence. You know what I mean? You're that guy who just like, Ian's here.
Well, hearing that from you means the world to me. I think the same way about you, Sean. So thank you,
buddy. Stay safe.
Meatballs personified for sure.
Meatballs and spaghetti personified, baby.
And I actually, it's so funny you bring up that music video. I saw, like, I took like a picture, I think me and Will Miles and Monroe at that shoot, and it popped up in my like memory thing. And I was like, oh my God, I remember that. And we all had to, like, I learned the lyrics and then found out that I had to have my mouth covered. And I was like,
oh my God, yeah, I forgot about that.
I know a new song.
You were one of the only people that put in the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out that music video, Caitlin. Put it in the titles.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that band broke up, but sure.
All right. Thank you, Ian. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. This is great.
Thank you.
I'll catch you next time.
How am I doing you?